So you're really one of 11 kids?
No, well, it was, my dad had 3 boys and 3 girls when he married my stepmom. And she had 3 boys and 1 girl. And then they had one together, and then they adopted one.
So you guys were the original Brady Bunch.
Yep. His, mine, and ours.
What was it like growing up with a mixed family like that? Back in what year?
Mixed or blended, you mean?
Blended, yeah. Or mixed. Sorry, I didn't use the right term.
It was cool. We didn't think about it. It was, I don't know, it was different. It was normal, I guess. We kind of raised each other, you know, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Our parents were always gone. You know, that's when my dad was in politics.
Oh, that's right, for the city, right?
Yeah. And his wife, she's like 20 years younger than him.
No, yeah?
So, you know, she got caught up in the limelight. They'd always be going to dinners and parties and whatever. And, you know, my siblings were older, some of them. So she would leave them to make dinner, to do whatever.
Go ahead and talk a little bit louder. My uncle, he had 13 kids. One passed away, the baby, as a baby, and it was the same type of ordeal. I used to love going over because my oldest cousins would, you know, take care of us when my parents would go out with my uncle and my auntie and go out to dinner. So one time I remember that my parents and my uncle, they went to Sizzler. And my cousin was like, "You didn't want to go?" I was like, "No, I want to hang out with y'all. I want to eat what you're eating." And they're like, "Oh, for real? You could have had Sizzler." I was like, "Yeah, what?"
And what were they eating?
At Sizzler. They were eating macaroni and, I don't know, some basic food.
It was 2 families?
It was one family.
He had all 13 himself?
Yeah.
Him and his wife?
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because they're their own, like, little posse now. Like, everywhere they go, it's just like that clan. It's like a different type of bond, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah. So how come you don't like turtlenecks?
Because they itch. They itch and, you know, all up the neck, and you get hot and sweaty. And
So I'm curious to know, like, your story. Where does it begin?
what story?
Your life story. Who's Gil?
Well, I was the fastest swimmer.
Yeah, Cluck.
Who's Gil? My dad.
Where did you grow up?
A city called Pico Rivera.
Pico Rivera, your whole life?
Yeah, pretty much.
You went to El Rancho and everything?
Yep, in the front gate, out the back. Yeah, I never even graduated from there.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I left home when I was 16. Me and my dad got in a fight, and I told him I was out of here. They threw me out of here. I don't remember.
One of the two?
Yeah. We had a mutual agreement. I see you on the streets, I'm going to jack you up.
Yeah?
Yep.
Was that more, like, common back then?
I don't
Like,
know.
type of relationship, or do you think it was just kind of like
No, I was just stupid.
stupid?
I was dumb. You know, teenagers think they know everything.
So what did you do at 16? How did you survive?
Right here, where Tommy's is,
Uh-huh.
used to be a liquor store, not a liquor store, a market called, what the heck was it called? Lucky's? Yeah, Lucky's.
Mm.
And right next door was Pioneer Chicken.
Really? I didn't know there was a Pioneer's Chicken over there.
Yeah, there was before, not anymore.
Yeah. Well,
And
obviously.
actually, it was right here. This.
This plaza?
Wait a minute, I'm lost now.
All right.
No, it was over there. Anyways, In the 10th grade, I was working at Pioneer Chicken, and they liked the way I work, so I would work. I wouldn't go to school. I'd go like I'd ditch a lot. Me and my friends party and stuff, and then I started working because I needed a job. I wasn't living at home, and I started working there, and then they liked the way I worked, so they wanted me to open. I would open at 10 o'clock, I think it was, when I was in the 11th grade. So I missed the whole 11th grade.
Sheesh.
And then I wanted to join the Marines, and I was like one of the last classes to be able to go in without a diploma.
Really? I didn't even know that you had that option. Like, you could just go in without a diploma.
Yeah.
What year was this? What decade?
81.
81? So 80s all the way, 85 all the way live, huh?
Yeah. So I signed up in 81 and shipped out in 82. But they told me in order to get in, I didn't have to have a diploma, but I had to have 12 years of school. So 12th grade, I went back to El Rancho, and I just sat in class and goofed around. Yeah, so that did my...
Where was your first stop as a Marine? Yes.
Thanks. First stop, boot camp.
Boot camp, where was that?
MCRD, San Diego.
What was that like for you?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was cool.
How so? Do you remember any of it?
Oh, I remember everything. Ask any Marine, they don't forget any of it.
I tried to join the Marines right out of high school. And I went to the recruiting office over there in Montebello, and the dude was standing in the door sill, and he saw my hand tattoo. He's all, go try the Army. I was like, nah, us Marines are nothing for me, so that's my Marine story.
I always knew since I was a little kid, I liked the uniforms. There was just something about them that attracted me to them. And I always wanted to be a Marine. So when I had the opportunity, I went in on delayed entry. That's why I signed up in 81, because I was only 17 in 81. And I had to wait a year. So when I got out of high school, I went straight over there. Well, actually, I was supposed to go like in June, but me and my friends were goofing around at Rio Vista. They used to have those metal nets, remember? Basketball nets.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
chain.
The chain nets.
Yeah, and I jumped up there and I hung on the net. I sliced my finger. 4 separate places, so they wouldn't accept me right there. They had to wait till I healed. So I ended up going in August.
Do you think that was like a better, in the long run, retrospect, that you went in August, or were you ready to go?
Oh no, I was ready to go.
Ready to go.
Yeah, because the more I stood out, the more I was going to get in trouble. Yeah, me and my friends are doing stuff. Mostly me, but...
Being wild. Everybody has their story.
Yeah.
So after boot camp, what was your first stop? Where were you stationed?
After boot camp, I went to Fort Lee, Virginia. It was a quartermaster school. It was in the Army. If the camp has, or the duty station has a fort in front of it, it's Army. And Marines are camp, like Camp Lejeune.
Camp Pendleton?
Camp Pendleton, yeah, those are all Marines.
Oh, okay.
So if I went to Fort Lee, Virginia, it was for training for school. I refueled aircraft, tanks, and jeeps. I was basically a gas man.
How did you get into that position? Do you test into it, or what? Did they assign
you test, and they get you if they know you're dumb, or you don't. Not that you're dumb. They know you don't know
what you want to do.
Well, for instance, I told them I wanted to build bridges. I want to be an engineer. So I went into the engineer category or umbrella, but a lot of stuff falls under engineer.
It's just a broad umbrella term?
Yeah, just to rope you in,
Yeah, for sure you're going to be a Navy SEAL.
Yeah. So part of engineering was refueling. It's called bulk fuel. It was cool though. We get to, as being an engineer, I get to search for landmines, and like they also go clear the road before the other troops come in, the rest of the troops.
So they kind of didn't lie. You were on bridges technically.
Oh, I actually did build a bridge.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We built a bridge on pontoon boats.
Mm-hmm.
One, what do you call it? What do you call it when you go out? Go out and like in the field. I don't know. I forget what I'm trying to say, but one of our outings, we
A tour?
No, not a tour. It's like kind of like a. I'm tired, dude.
All right. Doesn't matter. One of your outings.
Yeah, an event, whatever.
Okay.
We're out in the field in a training exercise. We had to. One of the generals wanted to cross the river in his Jeep. Mm-hmm. So we had to stay. We stood up 2 days straight just building a bridge from one side to the other. And then he got his Jeep, went across, and we had to tear it down.
Really?
Yeah. Kind of stuff like that. But it's, everything means something. You have to be able to work fast because, if you're in war or whatever, you got to do what you got to do to.
So is the boot camp really like getting you, breaking you down to be efficient, right? And for whatever the task may be?
Well, the first thing is, as a Marine, the first thing it teaches is to fight, to kill. And they train all Marines to be, it's called a grunt. Mm-hmm. A grunt is those that fight, front lines or whatever. There's a saying that the Marines are first to fight, because every war, there's always Marines there first. So that's why they teach you how to kill like that.
Yeah.
But as soon as they pick you up, we had to spend the night over in LA at a hotel, and then they bus you in on purpose, like 3 o'clock in the morning. So you pull up at MCRD at 3 o'clock in the morning and in buses, and the first thing you do when you get there, all these DIs, the drill instructors, they come running in the bus, all right, calling you dirty names and stuff like that, and like, you
can say it though.
Say goodbye to your mom and dad. From now on, I'm your mom, I'm your dad, I'm your mother, I'm your girlfriend. All you gotta do is answer to me, and they're yelling at you and get off the bus, and there's yellow footprints on the cement, telling you which way to walk and stuff. Put your feet on the footprints and
just follow the path, huh?
Oh yeah. Shut up! It ain't no talking. I didn't tell you to talk. So they try to scare you right away. And I wasn't scared, but I was not. I didn't know what was going on and what to expect. So just, keep my mouth shut and don't want to get in trouble. And then they start, just yelling at you. And the first thing they do is send you to the barber. And the dude gets the trimmers like you got, and just, you got a mole, you got a cut, you got a bruise or something on your head, put your finger on it or else you're going to lose it. And typically in 30 seconds, dude, he just shaves your whole head.
Yeah, just
bald.
In and out, bam.
Yep.
How much was it? No, I'm scared.
It's free. It's like this one.
No. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then they just start tearing you down, dude. Just like, which, like I said, everything they do has a meaning behind it, or a reason for doing it, you know. And they just want to see how you, or show you how to react when difficulties come around, and make sure that you can set your mind to do what they want you to do, or what they train you to do.
Is there something that you still carry to this day that you learned from the Corps?
Oh yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. What's one of the biggest things or most valuable thing to you from there?
Well, I think everybody should go to the military, not necessarily the Marines, but every kid out of high school should do at least 2 years.
You think it should be like Israel?
Like, yeah,
everybody
other
serves
countries.
A couple years.
Yep. I know it's not for everybody, but they train you and teach you independence, and teach you, put you in line to get a good job, or
At least set you up a little bit better for the future, would you say?
Yeah, teach you how to be independent and live on your own, fend for yourself, and gives you direction, self-pride, basically just shows you things that you never knew that you can do.
I always, when I hear interviews, from former Marines or just in talking to them in general, like they tell me similar things that you said. Is there anything that you wouldn't recommend or you try to forget after that?
Oh, no.
Like bad habits or?
No. I'm all for it, everything they do. It's not all good. I mean, they typically brainwash you. It's a brainwashing, but I liked it because it was kind of like my attitude. I was always skinny and small and the runt of the group, So when they teach you different things, hand-to-hand combat, and how to shoot a rifle, and well, like I said, how to kill, it's kind of gives you a big head, Yeah, when I first got out, me and my brother, man, we used to get in fights with other people every single weekend.
Really? Just carrying it around
just
like
scary,
that?
Yeah, just, hey, man.
I'm a Marine, my guy.
Yeah, it gives you that attitude, Which is good and bad.
Good to an extent, right?
Yeah.
If you're trying to defend yourself or, be
Yeah,
respectful, or it could go the other way if you're...
Yeah, because after a
trying to
while, I
flex
was
on
the one
people.
always trying to start fights,
That sounds familiar.
I mean, but my brother, I always had to defend my brother. He's the one with the big mouth, and I always had to defend him. One time we were at a party and we fought against Pico Viejo. There was like 30 of them.
Just two of you?
Yeah. Well, actually, we had them fighting. I grew up with these guys, some of these guys from Pico Viejo, and so they kind of had our backs. They were kind of fighting each other, but the whole reason why is because my brother was drunk, and he was dancing with. He was dancing with my girlfriend's sister, I think it was, at the time. Boy's mom, her sister. And he was, he drank a case of beer before we even got there. Then they had a keg there. And
My boy was going ham then.
yeah, and I knew the DJ. So we were talking to the DJ, and I'm pointing at him. I was laughing because my brother's all jacked up dancing. And I was saying, yeah, look at my brother's all messed up. And this big homeboy, the only one I didn't know from the party, said, hey, what the you looking at, man? I'm like, I'm checking out my brother, man. He's all messed up. He said, you calling me a liar? So why you mad dogging me? I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. Look at my brother. Yeah, no, you're looking at me. And at that time, my brother comes in between. Hey, what the wrong with you, man? And next thing you know, boom, the dude clocked him. I'm like, oh,
here
man,
we go.
Here we go. So I started jumping that dude, and next thing you know, see this scar right here? Boom, I got hit with a Michelob bottle.
No.
And I went down and hit the, the Thina, they put the keg in there.
Yeah.
Hit my tooth.
No.
Yeah, I got all cut open and.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And then another time we went to go see Eddie Murphy in concert. And we saw these two good-looking chicks. And I told my brother, hey, man, what color underwear you think she's wearing? And he goes, I don't know, blue? I said, nah, she looks more like she's wearing like a pink or a green. So I went up to her, and she was walking with two guys. These guys, they were trying to pick up on them. And so I hit her up, hey, what color underwear you got on?
You did.
And then the guys are like, hey, why don't you mind your own business, man? And I'm like, shut up, fool, this don't include you. Yeah, that's my girlfriend right there. That ain't your girlfriend. We saw you walking up to them. And next thing you know, we're fighting, and we're just duking it out, and neither one of us was winning, but we're just beating each other up, So then they kind of broke it up, and he comes over to shake my hand. He said, yeah, good fight, man, good fight. And he bent over to pick something up, his necklace or, I don't know, something that he lost in the fight. And as he's bending over, I went, boom, I kicked him in the face, and he rolled over like a dog. All four of his limbs or feet and hands were up in the air.
You're a bad man.
And I'm like, yeah, now who was? I got blood all over my shoe, and the dude was just knocked out.
Oh man, were you matching Eddie Murphy's delirious suit?
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
it was Eddie Murphy Raw.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Was that first or second?
That was first.
First.
I believe it was first.
So what was life like for you after Marines? What do you do when you get out
Well,
besides fight?
I went back to my dad's house, and I stood there for like a month, and then I got a job with my brother-in-law delivering office equipment over at Fry's Office Supplies, before the big Fry's.
Before the electronics, it was a different price?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got paid $4 an hour.
$4 an hour?
$4 an hour. And then
Jeez.
with that $4 an hour, I rented, well, first of all, like I said, I was staying with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
But since I was working, my stepmother, she went and told me and my brother Russ wasn't working. She goes, you know what? I need money from you guys for rent. You guys got to start paying rent. And she looks at him and says, you're not working. You give me $50 a month, and because you're working, you give me $100 a month.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I ain't giving you crap. And so then that's when I ended up moving out. But with that $4 an hour, I was paying $500 a month rent.
Were you really?
Plus a $120 car payment.
What kind of car, you remember?
Yeah, it was a VW Rabbit.
Dude, okay.
Yeah, it was a Rabbit. Oh, yeah, I think it was a Rabbit. Yeah.
And that's it? Well, what after Fry's, what was next for you?
You're going way back, dude.
That's the point. We go deep in this.
After Fry's, let's see. Quartet Manufacturing.
What do they do? I never even heard of that.
Yeah, you have. I bet you got one of their boards in here. We used to make those mark and white boards, the white boards.
Okay, okay.
That and the cork boards. They were like one of the first to come out with that stuff.
Mm.
It started off as a assembly man, putting the boards together, and then I went to cut the boards. It had a big old pattern saw on the wall, and you cut them down to size.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I first started doing speed. My boss would tell me, "Hey man, I want 1,000 boards cut today." I'm like, and he gives me a bag. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I cut 1,000 boards. Yeah, and then I moved up to shipping supervisor.
How common was it? I mean, it's common today for people to be in all kinds of drugs in the workplace, but like back then where there's like no cameras or probably drug testing, right?
Nah. Well, first I started off with cocaine. Well, one time when I was in the Marines, I was flying home from North Carolina, Camp Lejeune.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember where this guy, we picked him up at, but he was a Cuban. He was coming from Miami. And he had 2 big old bags like this of cocaine on him. Back then you could take it on the plane. They wouldn't search, dogs and all that other stuff. So he sat next to me, we started talking. He knew I was in the Marines. I started drinking a couple of beers, and then he's like, "Hey man, you do yayo?" I'm like, "Yayo?" Yeah, cocaine. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do that." He says, "Here," and he pulls this big old bag out of his. He said, "Take it to the bathroom." So I took it to the bathroom. I ripped this piece of magazine off, and I just filled it up, a page of magazine, and came home. We partied, but. Cocaine was expensive, and
What was it, like $100 an ounce back then?
I don't even know. But it was. You go get a 20 or 25. It was 25 a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
You go get a quarter, and you do it in 10, 15 minutes. You go get more.
Jeez.
So you had to keep going back and more. And then at that quartet, when my boss gave me that speed, I'm like, man, you do one line and you stay up all night long. I'm like, yeah, I like this better. It's cheaper, man. So then we all started doing it there. Everybody working there, we're all on it.
Sheesh.
And one time my boss, he was coming down, and he actually picked a fight with me, or I don't remember what happened, but he was driving the forklift, and he said something to me, and I said something back, and then he jumped off the forklift to try to get me, but as he's in the air, I got him, and I turned him around. I got him and threw him on the floor, put him on his back, and I just started banging his head on the floor. I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? Hey. He said, I'm gonna get you fired. And banging his head. So why are you attacking me, dude? And then our boss, the president, started walking by when we're in one of the aisles, and we just got up and just like, yeah, all right, yeah, whatever. Then he ended up trying to get me fired. He would change my time cards. I'd punch in, like, say, 8 o'clock, and he'd get a marker and put 8:05 or 8:06 or, whatever to make me late.
Petty, dog. Petty.
Yeah, but he didn't know that I would take pictures of my time card.
What'd you have, some Polaroids?
What did I have?
What are you taking pictures with?
How did I take pictures of that? Oh, I didn't take pictures. I copied it.
Oh.
That's what it was. I used to make copies of it. But he ended up firing me, and they wouldn't give me unemployment because they said it was my fault or whatever. But I had all those copies of my time card. So at the unemployment, the meeting that they had there to determine whether I was getting it or not, I produced all my evidence, and then they gave it to me. That was a good job too, man. I like that job.
So after Quartet, then what?
Really, dude? After Quartet,
let me ask you this: how many jobs would you say you had during your lifetime?
Oh, dude.
The record on this show is 60, at least.
60?
Yeah.
When we start when I was 10, I had 3 paper routes. The Herald Examiner, Los Angeles Times, and the Peak River News. All at once. I don't know how many, but I did a lot of everything. I did asphalt,
You're a man of many trades then.
Yeah. Master of none.
What was your favorite job?
Probably Quartet. It was cool. Making those boards and stuff.
All right.
Partying.
And how old are you around this time when you're doing all this is going down?
Probably like 22, 23.
Oh man, you're in your prime.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. That's why I like that job. There's a bunch of chicks there.
When did you start having kids?
That I know of?
Yeah, for sure.
When I was 10.
Oh my gosh.
No. I mean, when I start having kids.
When was your first child? What age?
Tracy. Oh, my kid. How old was I?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. She was born in 87. I was born in 64.
I'm not trying to do math right now. I went to El Rancho too, my guy.
I was 23.
Okay, 23. Right. Do you remember what that feeling was when your lady told you that she was pregnant? Were you excited? Were you happy? Were you nervous? Because at this point you're a 22-year-old stallion.
But she had 2 kids already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Billy was only 4 months old, and then John was 4 years old.
So you're already a stepdad to them?
Yeah,
okay.
I've been a stepdad all my stinking life, dude. Since I was 19. I was 19 when I met her.
All right.
Yeah.
You see, like I don't know. That's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah, of course.
So you have Tracy.
So I had Tracy February 24th, 1987. And we went to the zoo and picked out a monkey. 10/7/91.
And what was that like, transitioning from being wild to...
Well, to answer your question first about being... I don't remember, actually, when she told me she was pregnant, but I was kind of scared because I didn't want to tell my parents. But one time I slept over there, before I moved out,
mm-hmm.
Vicky, my kid's mom, she spent the night. Me and her and Billy. Billy was, like I said, 4 months old. And we all slept in the living room. And then my stepmother came downstairs and she saw us because we didn't tell them that we were staying there or nothing. And I didn't think nothing of it.
Yeah.
We had our clothes on and we were I was sleeping in the living room and it was good. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she came down the stairs and she's like, what the? Gilbert, telling my dad, you'd better talk to that kid. You got somebody sleeping over here. So that was that, and then we got part of my answer to that question. We got Billy. He was probably about a year now, or maybe over a year. He can talk, and somehow or another, I got him to tell my mom that she was pregnant. Something like, go tell her we're having a baby or something like that.
There's going to be another one of me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was.
Did you guys get married? Were you just...
No.
No?
We were just living in sin.
Can you tell me, do you remember that mindset after having 4 kids and being a blended family, and what did that look like? How long?
Well, none of that even entered my mind, you know. I was just living.
It was just life?
It's not like it is now. It was just normal. Everybody had blended families back then.
Really?
Yeah, it seemed like, or maybe not everybody had blended families, but family was family.
Yeah.
It's like... it
just is what it is?
Yeah, we didn't even know or not, or ask her a question, because, oh, that's my family. Okay, this is my family. I mean, I grew up in a blended family, so that was all normal to me. But when she got pregnant, I guess I was excited. I think I was just excited to piss off my parents. Yeah.
What made it exciting? Just that you were rebellion?
Yeah.
Just like whatever?
Yeah, rebellious. Showing them that I could do whatever the heck I want to do. Yeah, it was dumb, but...
Hey, man, we all make our decisions, right, when we live with the consequences.
Yeah, but the thing is, now, I know you and me and my kids, we try to guide our kids and teach them the right thing. We never had any of that, or I never had any of that when I was a kid. Like I said, they're always caught up in their politics in their own ways, and my brother and sister, we raised each other. You know, we looked after each other, and, you know, it is what it is, basically.
Yeah. So when did you start, when did you get married again?
Well, I wasn't married yet.
Okay, when did you get married the first time?
I got married the first time, June 16th. What was the year? 2007.
2007. And how did you meet this gal?
Church. Met her at church. Debbie.
What was it about her that drew your eye?
You know, I was not attracted to her at first. Yeah, it's a trip. It's like the Lord was just showing me. Well, what happened was she was a choir leader, and, you know, I had a friend growing up where I lived. His name was Gus. He lived around the corner from me. He worked at Cintas, the uniform place.
Yeah.
And I told him I was going to Calvary Chapel, Montebello. And he says, oh, I got my friend. Her name was Debbie. She worked at Cintas also. She goes to that church. You know her? I'm like, no, I don't know her. And then he showed me a picture of her. I said, oh, yeah, I've seen her before. So the next time I seen her, I went and asked her about him. Said, oh, yeah, Gus. And that's kind of how we met. And then after that, she was leading the choir, and she asked me to be in the choir. We need guys, you know. I heard you sing, and, you know, we need deep voices. We need guys that can sing. Will you be in the choir? I'm like, I don't know how to sing. Anyways, I ended up being in the choir, and it's like the guy, after choir practice was over, everybody just get up and leave, and, you know, she'd have to fold the chairs, and she'd have to put the music away and all this other stuff. So I just started helping her. And again, I was just trying to be nice, be a good Christian guy, and just help out and stuff. And then, I don't know, she started liking me or not. I don't recall. And then after that, she asked me, she was part of the VPM, the Video Presentation Ministry. And she said, "Oh, you want to do this? You get into ministry here. You know, you've been here going to this church this long, and you need to get into ministry." So I started doing. She's showing me how to do that. Oh no! Prior to that, I was doing prison ministry.
So you go to, what was that?
Prison ministries. You go up north. Like we belong to this ministry called Bill Glass Ministries. Bill Glass was an ex-football player. He played for the Cleveland Browns, and I don't remember what happened. Either he was locked up or he went to visit somebody. I don't recall, but he wanted to start doing prison ministry, so he got these called platform speakers, which happened to be like a guy called Murph the Surf. He was the world's largest jewel thief. He stole the world's largest sapphire.
Jeez.
When we're doing ministry, he was going in. Well, let me back up. First of all, he was in jail, and he gave his life to the Lord through Bill Glass. Bill Glass went to go visit him or something or whatever, and Bill Glass led him to the Lord. And when I met him, he was like 70 years old, 72, 75, whatever. I don't recall. I think in his 70s. And he was still peeing in a cup because he actually he had 7 life sentences.
What?
But the Lord took him out of prison. So he just said, you know, since he did that, I'm going to go back and serve him. So he'd get people like that, Murph the Surf. He also get sports figures. I met a guy named Bruce Cawley. He was a lineman for the San Francisco 49ers. He played with Montana. Him. And I met Dennis Rice. Dennis Rice was a member of the Manson clan.
No, really?
Yeah, he got busted. When Manson got busted, Dennis Rice and the rest of their family, the Manson family, they were going to go bust him out of jail. So he loaded up his van, or a van, I don't know whose it was. He loaded up a van with machine guns and bazookas and hand grenades, and they were going to actually go bust him out. But the cops got a tip. As they're waiting in the alley to go do it, the cops came and they busted them, and you know, they got arrested and stuff. So Dennis Rice, when he got out of prison or whatever, he decided to do the same thing. He gave his life to the Lord. And I met him before. And Jimi Hendrix's wife, or girlfriend, met her. Just a bunch of celebrities. Well, anyways, he gets those celebrities together, and they're called platform speakers. They go out. We take like, there's a big group because from all states of the United States, not all of them, but, you know, they're all around the United States. He had like 800 motorcycles because they would get motorcycles to go inside the prisons, and they ride the motorcycles on the yard, outside the yard, and they just making all kinds of noise. So all the inmates can come out and say, "Hey, what the heck's going on out there?" So they all come out of their dorms or housing, and they come in and see what's going on. They're looking at the motorcycles, and then we have like a flatbed trailer out there with a band on top of it playing music. So all the inmates come out, and once they're in the yard like that, then the platform speaker goes up on the trailer, the back of the trailer, and he starts giving his testimony. And then we as teammates were infiltrating with the inmates, you know, talking to them just like I am you, and just, you know, sharing the Lord with them. And as these guys are giving their testimonies, you know, we keep quiet, have these guys pay attention, and then once they're done, then we just start sharing the Lord with them, and, you know, leading them to the Lord.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
So how did that integrate with Debbie?
Yeah. So, anyways, she went. We were in the prison ministry at CCM, and normally all the guys would go with the guys, and all the girls would go with the girls up to these events up in Fresno. Well, one time all the girls' cars were full, and all we had room was for one more person with the guys.
Look at you, dogs.
Look at me. No, I did nothing.
I saw you creeping in the background, dog.
No, that's the thing. I was all the way in the back of the SUV, and she was in the front with Henry, the leader. So, you know, that was when I first kind of got to know her a little bit. We weren't even really talking, but, you know, she'd crack a joke, and then I'd crack a joke from the back, and she just started liking me for my personality and stuff. But even still then, I wasn't thinking nothing of it until later on. Like I said, that's when the choir came in 4 years later.
So you guys were friends for 4 years before?
No, that was the whole friendship part of it. We never even really seen each other after that, or say hi to each other at church or whatever.
Just be cordial?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that time, I was still with my son's mom.
Mm.
But, we were breaking up, and, she was into her thing, and I gave my life to the Lord, and I was having a rough time with her because she was doing things and trying to, and there was a big mishap. So one day Debbie asked me something about, I think it was about her or about how I was doing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I said, just pray for me because I was going through this or that, whatever. And then that was one Wednesday night or something like that. And then whatever it was that she prayed for, whatever, it came to fruition. And that's when we kind of split up for good. And she kept her distance from me. And so I went to church the following week or two after that.
Mm-hmm.
And Debbie was in that doing the VPM ministry. And I said, hey, man, you know what? Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your prayers. And I gave her an update. And just out of nowhere, I just gave her a kiss on the cheek. I said, thank you. But I didn't mean anything by it. I didn't mean, it was just a thank you, a brother-sister kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she took it the wrong way or whatever.
I wonder why.
Then she started, well, look at me, dog. Come on.
Wow, she hit the jackpot. She
She hit the jackpot.
Close your eyes real quick.
So then that's when she asked me to be in the VPM ministry.
Mm-hmm.
So as she was training me, there was this band. I don't know who it was, but they were a real good band, and they played this song called "Beautiful One."
Mm-hmm.
And I started listening to the words, and then I'm like, this is a good song for a girl too, man. And then all of a sudden, it's like clicked like that, and that's when the Lord told me, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder who's that.
And I said, what do you mean, her? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, but I'm not even attracted to her. And he's like, well, that's what I want. I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you want, then I'm going to, I'm going to pray. I'm going to keep praying and, we'll start fasting. And next thing you know, I told her about it. And, well, I didn't tell her about that. But what happened was one of the times when the choir practice finished,
mm-hmm.
everybody left. And like I said, I would help her clean up.
Mm-hmm.
So me, her, and her friend Kimmy were going to go to lunch after. Well, actually, it was going to be the guys, too, some guys and the girls. Next thing you know, it's taking too long because, she used to like to talk a lot. And, she was the choir leader, so people would come up with questions after, and she'd end up talking and talking. Well, everybody's sitting there waiting. And then little by little, everybody's like, I'm out of here. And all the guys left. And then her friend Kimmy was just me, Kimmy, and Debbie. We're sitting there, and then Kimmy's like, I'm out of here. I'm like, all of a sudden, we're together. Well, everybody left. Do you still want to go? Or, well, yeah, I still want to go. We'll still go eat. And then we just went right there to California Burgers. Mm. And then we just started talking, and then all of a sudden it came to, she's like, what's your plans or whatever? I said, well, I don't know. Someday I'd like to get married. Someday I'd like to meet somebody, this and that, whatever. And she's like, well, that's a loaded answer or something. I don't recall. But after that, it's like, then the Lord kept showing me that she's the one. And then all of a sudden, my eyes just like, boom. They opened up, and she was beautiful to me. And we just started getting along. And next you know, she's like, we had the choir at the Easter sunrise service.
Uh-huh.
We had a choir service at East LA College.
Mm-hmm.
Remember back then? Anyways, we ended up going to the college together, and then that's when she's like, you know what? People see us together, what are we going to do? What are we going to say? Are you prepared? Because people are going to start saying things, and I'm like, well, I don't know. It is what it is, And then not until after a couple of dates, then I asked her to be my girlfriend. But she was actually seeing somebody at the time.
No, look at you, Mr. Steal Your Girl, dog.
No, I didn't. No.
Hey, and it's okay.
No, I didn't know what's
Hey.
They weren't
the
they weren't
history passed
seeing they weren't
already.
seeing each other. They were with each other for 10 years, but they had broken up. And then the Lord started showing her. She's like, because they were always having friction, and that's when the Lord told her, "Hey, why are you messing with that when I got this for you?" And that's when she realized, and then we both revealed that to each other, and then we started dating. And that was that.
Hey,
That was that. And we're talking for 2 years. Well, actually 1 year. And then she's like, well, we're going to go forward or what? She says, we get in, when you get a guy and a girl meet at church, the whole reason is to get married. Otherwise, there's no sense in going out with each other.
It's supposed to see if you're compatible for marriage, right? Because that's the idea of like, you're courting somebody, right?
Right, but with the intent to marry.
Yeah, for sure. You're not just wasting each other's time.
Exactly. So then, I hit her up and she said, yeah. And a year later, we were married. We did our classes and stuff. And, I didn't kiss her till I met my wedding day, dude. My very first kiss was my wedding day.
Look at you, man.
2 years later.
That's a beautiful story.
Yep.
What was it like for her on...
I thought you were... What was it like for the kiss? No, go on. What was it like for her?
For her coming into a blended family.
Oh,
Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, we got married. She became a wife, grandmother, and a mother all in the same day. Oh, she was great about it, dude. I mean, she was already 50 years old, I think, so she couldn't have kids anymore. And, she always wanted to give her mom a grandchild. But she, she never got married and stuff. So for her to have an instant family like that was awesome. And she took the role and she just went with it. And she was the best thing that happened to me and to my kids.
I love it.
Yep, she was awesome.
Curious to know, what was it like when she passed? How do you navigate that? You were with somebody for, you said 12 years?
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years.
Well, I was actually thinking about that today. It was pretty awesome, dude. I started thinking, what I was thinking about today was, I wonder if people thought I was crazy, man, because when she passed away, I was really happy. I was really joyful, and I knew she was with the Lord. And I didn't show too much negative emotion in front of people, other than my son and my grandson and my stepdaughter. And it's like, what did people think? Because when she was in the coffin and I was greeting people at her memorial service. I'm like, she made it, man. And what it was, I was really happy because that was one of my very first accomplishments in life. I made a vow with the Lord, for better, for worse, until death do us part. And I made it. She died, but I made it. I made a solid commitment, and I went through with it.
You ran that race.
I ran that race, and I knew she ran that race, and I knew where she was, and I knew she was at peace, and that gave me so much joy and so much peace alone. It's like, I was wondering if people thought, like, is he happy? Is he happy she's dead?
I haven't experienced that. I'm just trying to, think about that for my own knowledge. Is like, was that verse the peace that surpasses all understanding? Did that make sense at that point?
Dude, it made so much sense. I mean, the Lord, He had everything planned out, every single detail, small things to.
As far as like the burial process and all that, or what do you mean?
Everything. All we were like $40,000 in debt, credit cards, and he took care of all that. People were getting together, giving me money to pay my bills. To Donna Vera was awesome, dude. She still is. when Debbie was dying, I couldn't stay home with her and watch her. I could have if I wanted to, but she'd rather have me continue working. So there was a group of friends where at the whole time she was never home by herself. She wasn't home by herself because there's always somebody sitting there watching with her, praying with her, feeding her, helping her, doing whatever, you know. Even to the point when she was in the hospital, I didn't want her to be alone, and there'd be somebody spending the night with her every night. You know, I'd spend the night a few nights, and then somebody else, and you know, I'd go to work, and once I get off of work, I'd stay there with her, spend the night, but all during the day, somebody was there with her. And
you know, that's I don't mean to interrupt, but that's something I know for sure that when people think of Christianity, they don't see that aspect of that's what true Christianity is, you know, apart from our salvation through Jesus Christ, is the community that it brings through it, right? So it's like you had people to walk with you to go through that tough time, you know. It is a bittersweet because you know where she's going, but it's also you're losing your partner of 12 years, and you know, before that, because you guys were dating for years prior, so
yeah,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was more like 15 years together.
15 years.
Yeah, so you know, even that little intricacy and people bringing us food all the time, and after she passed away, you know, paying for her funeral and everything, dude. He took care of everything. And the funeral home, the director happened to be one of her friends.
Really?
From the other church, the Puerta Abierta. And he knew her personally and intimately. They were both in the choir together, and I mean, the way he knit everything together was amazing, and that all helped to bring me that joy, to bring me that intimacy and closer to God because of what he's done, you know. I keep forgetting the verse. I don't know if it's Galatians or Corinthians. I think it might be Corinthians, because I always say Galatians, about, you know, how he allows us to go through things, and that after we go through them, it's so that we can go through them with somebody else that's going through it.
It's strengthening the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gives us these trials so that when somebody else goes through them, we're already strengthened in that aspect, so we can help them. Yeah, so it was awesome. So that's why I was thinking, man, what were people thinking when I didn't cry at her funeral. I trust me, I cried, man. Yeah. But, you know, not in front of anybody, not because of pride or because of whatever. It was just like I wanted them to experience the joy that I was having. Because...
so you're not saying that it wasn't hard, because it was, but...
Right. It wasn't hard, but that peace, like you said, was there, and that's when he was holding me. I guess kind of like that poem, Footsteps. You know, when I was going through all these trials or whatever, why did I only see one set of footprints in the sand? Because that's when I was carrying you. You know, he carried me through the whole thing. And
quick side note, how deep do you want to go on the beard?
What do you mean, lengthwise?
Like right here.
I don't care, dude. Just do whatever.
I'm gonna make you look pretty either way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trusting you. But don't mess it up.
So with all that being said, how do you go through life now? Like, what keeps you going? You know, after all that, going through all the trials and all the errors, like.
Well, as you know, my second marriage. I will save that for another story, but not. We've kind of rushed into things and married for the wrong reasons, I guess. I don't know. It just makes my first marriage so much more meaningful and so much more. I miss it more, you know. I was thinking about, like, where would we be, man? She would have been so happy that I'm working for the city and her working for the county. You know, two people working for the city and county of LA. First of all, we've been making bank.
Yeah.
And just the things that we could do or could have done. You know, take that trip to Israel that we both wanted to do. She went to Israel I think she went a couple of times. I don't remember. But, you know, I always wanted to go with her. And what was the question again?
Where do you find yourself at today? Like, what's your goals? Like,
Yeah.
now that chapter's, you know, ended, not in a bad way, but life goes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Just trying to bring myself closer to the Lord and let Him choose for me.
Let him lead.
Let Him lead, because I'm a guy. Sometimes I don't think it all the way through.
I understand that.
Oh, but you know, I just, like, for this marriage, you know, we fasted and we prayed, and I honestly believe it's from the Lord, but she didn't. So, I don't know. It's like, she was too young, too immature in the Lord, and I don't want to say unequally yoked, but probably not compatible. And certain things we were, but more meaningful things we weren't.
I got you. Well, we'll end it right there, man. And I want to thank you for coming on. It was an awesome time.
Done?
Yeah.